Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, Impact Wrestling Under Siege happened last night on Fight TV and Impact Plus and YouTube for Ultimate Insiders. God damn, I sound like Time Hamilton now. Overall, not too bad of a show. On my preview, there were the 10 matches that happened. I didn't know about one of them on the pre-show. So out of the 9 matches on the preview, I picked 8 of the 9. So I thought it was pretty predictable. I'm okay with the one I missed. I like the outcome of it. So we're going to run down all these matches, star ratings, what I thought of them, and all that. So on the pre-show, on the countdown to Under Siege, we had 2 matches. We had the non-title match, the Death Dollz, going up against the Knockout Tag Team Champions, the Coven. Death Dollz, Jessicka, with a K because she's sick, and Courtney Rush. Fuck. Courtney Rush. Courtney Rush is Rosemary, who also is other personalities, Sue Young. So apparently, we found out on Impact this week that Rosemary went to the Ultimate Universe and came back as Courtney Rush, which is kind of similar to what Jessica's character is. And so Courtney Rush, part of the Death Dollz, was going to team with Jessicka for this match. They actually got the pinfall victory over the Knockout Tag Team Champions, so I assume they'll get a title shot here coming up. I don't know. I mean, really? Now we have the 3 faces of Rosemary. We got Rosemary, Sue Young, and then Courtney Rush. Whatever. I give it 2-star. We'll see where this goes. Obviously, the Death Dollz will probably more than likely at some point become Impact Knockout Tag Team Champions. That title needs to go away. Next up, we have the Impact Digital Media Championship on the line. We had champion Joe Hendry going up against Dirty Dango. Dirty Dango was the director of operations. Santino Marella is wannabe assistant who was covering for Scott D'Amore, who was attacked. Scott D'Amore came back. Santino was still in power. Somebody attacked him. Dirty Dango was kind of standing up for him. We're pretty sure we figured out Dirty Dango is the one that attacked Santino. And then in this match, Dirty Dango said, his little vignette or promo, whatever the fuck you want to call it, was about these wrestlers these days and blah blah blah, this, that, and the other, and Joe Hendry needs to go away. I'm like, really? You need to go away, but whatever. So we had Joe Hendry actually win by DQ. Dirty Dango in front of the referee, load him, and said it wasn't about the title, it was about kicking his ass, and attacked him. So yeah, I give that match 1 3/4 stars, like 5 minutes before the low blow for the disqualification. So I called out. I knew he would retain his title, and he still technically won. All right, first match on the card, we had Nick Aldis versus Kitty KING King. This match actually was not too awful bad. Kenny King came to the ring with Sheldon Jean, his little protege. Sheldon Jean got involved because of distract Nick Aldis to start. Tried it so that way King could attack Aldis. He distracted the referee at one point, and Aldis saw it coming and moved out of the way. Yeah, I mean, it was an okay match. If it had been straight one-on-one, Nick Aldis, I mean, he is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, I think. At least top 20. Now, he was part of the original All In, going up against Cody for the NWA World title, so I don't know if he'll be part of the next All In, but we'll see, because Impact does do some things with AEW. But Nick Aldis getting the victory here. I do look at seeing how he gets brought into the fold, especially for the world title, because he is a world champion anywhere he goes. Nick Aldis getting the victory. I give it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we had the Design Angels, Diener and Khan. And we had Rich Swann and Sami Callihan announced. They needed a partner, so there's going to be a mystery partner, and who it was. They needed somebody to fight against the Design. We know Sami Callihan was trying to take the Design apart from the inside out. Basically joined them. They had the 7 steps of whatever it was called by Diener, and Callihan ended up turning on Diener. And then Rich Swann, being the fact him and Callihan have been friends for years and years since they were teenagers, was on, obviously helping Sami Callihan. They added a third member. We added Jay Crist back in the fold, and former OVE, won Ohio versus Everyone from back in the early years of Impact Wrestling. Now Jay Crist left Impact Wrestling. No reason to get into why, but he was sent away packing. He is now back. Don't know if it's a one-off or if it's something that's going to be more permanent. But we had a team of Sami Callihan, Rich Swann, and Jake Crist getting the victory. I gave it 2 3/4 star. Kind of hoped it was like Josh Alexander, but that still can happen eventually. But he does need to come back and get his world title back. Nick Aldis versus Josh Alexander for the title. I like that. We got a long ways to go to get there, but let's get there. Impact Wrestling. All right, next up we had Trinity, formerly known as Naomi. Miss Batu going up against Gisele Shaw. This is Gisele Shaw's first match since WrestleMania weekend, the multi-first of matches. I don't know if that has anything to do with the controversy with Rick Steiner and the comments he made about Miss Shaw, or if it's just a coinky-dink. I don't know. But Jay Vidal and Savannah Evans came out with her, and Trinity ended up winning the match. This match started off actually pretty decent. Gisele Shaw, former Progress Women's Champion, former Rev Pro Women's Champion. She is very talented in the ring. If people choose not to root for her due to other reasons, that's a you problem, not a her problem. But Trinity took it to her here. Trinity, pretty good match. Again, this is only her second ever non-WWE match. Trinity getting the victory in 2 3/4 star match. Get about 10 minutes on this match. It wasn't too awful bad. Next up, we had one of the matches of the night. We had several. Impact World Heavyweight Tag Titles on the line. Champions, the ABC, another Bullet Club. Ace Austin, Chris Bay versus Subculture, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews, formerly known as Mandrews when he was in TNA and in Flash Morgan Webster. This was his first ever Impact Wrestling match. What a match. Oh boy. This may go down as one of the best tag team matches, maybe top 20 tag team matches of 2023. I am planning January 23rd, I believe it was. Let me double check that date. I'm planning the January 17th, my bad. January 17th is I'm going to do a best tag team matches of 2023 in honor of the late Jay Briscoe, one of the greatest tag team wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling. I'm trying to do my own little yearly, best tag team matches of the year on the anniversary of his passing to celebrate the life and times of one Jay Briscoe. So we got a ways for that, but this match definitely ready to top 23 because it's 2023. It may have a chance, at least for Best of Impact Wrestling, it'll have a chance. But Ace Austin and Chris Bay retaining their tag titles here. I give it 3 3/4. I may go back and rewatch it and see if it should be 4, but it was close. Next up, we had the X Division title on the line. We had champion Trey Miguel versus Chris Sabin. Again, this match was equally as good as the next 2 matches and the previous match. We had Chris Sabin and Trey Miguel, basically past versus present of the X Division. We had I love Trey Miguel because he's kind of transitioned from that, fan-loving, facey guy to this kind of heel, I'm better than you and I know it. I can play mind games with you, going against 8-time X Division champion Chris Sabin, one of the greatest of all time in the X Division. But he hasn't held the title since 2023, and I said that in the preview. Again, this match was just as good. We had Trey Miguel getting the victory over Chris Sabin, 3 3/4 star. If I had to look at both of these matches, the tag match and this match, it's almost like 1A, 1B, both 3 3/4 star of 2 of the matches of the night. Next up, we had the number one contender for the six-way number one contender match. The winner of this match gets the world title shot at Against All Odds in 2 weeks. Yeah, I know, random, right? Going up against, so we had Alex Shelley, Eddie Edwards, Frankie Kazarian, Jonathan Gresham, Moose, Uemura. Like I said in the preview, I can make a case for any of these guys to win. My pick was Moose. Unfortunately, did not get this one. This is the only match that I missed. We had Alex Shelley winning the match. Now, Alex Shelley, former multi-time tag team champion, former multi-time X Division champion, current Wrestling Revolver World Champion, current Pro Wrestling Prestige Pro Wrestling World Champion. He has a spot against whoever the World Champion is come Against All Odds. He has failed in his other attempts at the Impact World Heavyweight title. This was just one of those, everybody kind of did their thing, hit their kind of big, each person hit their big moves, less than 12 minutes. Alex Shelley, your new number one contender, I give it 3.5 stars. Next up, we had the knockout title on the line. We had champion Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, versus Jordynne Grace. Now, like I said in the preview, I wasn't sure about Jordynne Grace winning this because that stipulation on there, if Jordynne Grace loses, she cannot challenge Deonna Purrazzo for the knockout world title, and as long as Deonna holds it. I know there's been talk of Jordynne Grace's contract maybe being up or close to being up. I know she's been in a lot of bodybuilding and everything. If you look at her just a mere 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the first All In, compared to what her body type is now, night and day difference. She's done a lot of bodybuilding. So we'll wait and see what happens to Jordynne Grace. Now, what I would like to see happen is her to show up at All In. She was the first one. Show up at All In and beat Jade Cargill for the TBS title. I think somebody like a Jordynne Grace just literally walking in, people know who she is, and just beating her night one, boom, boom, title. I think that would be actually hella great storyline. Between now and All In, you could probably build Jade Cargill up. Figure we got Dynamite, we got Rampage, we got some of the house shows they're doing. You've got Collision. We have, 3 months till All In? Is that right? So we got June, July, and it's August, and basically the month of August because it's late August. So you got about 80 days or so. You could get her to 100-0 or 99-0 and have a surprise match at All In and have Jordynne Grace beat her. But this match, as powerful as Jordynne Grace is, Deonna Purrazzo is just as powerful. Deonna Purrazzo is just as talented. This match was phenomenal. Deonna Purrazzo got the victory. I give it 3 3/4 like the other two just previous. And the fact that you can put either one of these women against any woman in professional wrestling, in my opinion, again, my opinion, pro wrestling is 90% opinion, 10% fact. My opinion is both of these women are two of the top in the business today, period, bar none. You can put either one of them against a Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, and you would have just as good a match as you had right here. But Deonna Purrazzo retaining her Knockouts title, 13 minutes, 3 3/4 star, one of the best women's matches of 2023 so far. Main event, Impact World Heavyweight title on a no disqualification match, champion Steve Maclin versus PCO. Good fucking God, if you do not like blood, do not watch this match. I have never seen a human being bleed as much as Steve Maclin did. He had a slash right here in his head. It looked like it was 3 inches thick and a foot deep. Good God. It's exaggeration on the deepness. But I mean, literally, he just dropped his head and blood's running. You don't see that very often. Just dark red on his face most of the match. He did a dive through the ropes, and PCO hit him with a freaking cookie sheet. I don't know if it cut him, but it's like massive blood. I mean, all over the ringside. PCO hit him with a metal trash can, and an imprint of blood on the trash can. It's just, I mean, you would bend over, it's dripping. You don't see that much blood. I don't know if he got cut too deep or what happened. It's like, holy hell, how is he doing this? Then we had, what else happened? I mean, it was craziness. Just the amount of blood, PCO. Oh yeah, the cinder blocks. So we saw 2 weeks ago in Impact, Macklin breaks cinder blocks with a sledgehammer over PCO. And then last week on Impact, I know it was taped. They kept saying yesterday. Yesterday on Impact. No, it was 2 weeks ago. It was taped a long time ago, we know. Anyway, regardless, in the last Impact Wrestling show, we had Macklin come out and saying that PCO wasn't going to be there, blah, blah, blah. He was. And so he broke 2 cinder blocks over the back of fucking PCO. Macklin did. You know, PCO just twitching in the ring, laying there. A 1 count. It's like, holy shit. I mean, he broke another bunch of cinder blocks over him. Finally got the pinfall victory. 1, 2, 3. Steve Macklin, you're still your Impact World Champion. Then shit got crazy. If this match wasn't crazy enough, the end of this was crazy as fuck. You had Steve Macklin demand Scott D'Amore come out, because last time when Steve won, he wanted Scott D'Amore said he'd come out, put the title on him. Scott didn't do it. So you had Scott D'Amore come out, put the title on him, congratulate him, with the shake hands. Macklin walked away. Bully Ray comes in. Why the fuck Bully Ray's there, I never know. Whatever. Just go away. You're too damn old. Anyway, Bully Ray comes out, attacks Scott D'Amore, tells Macklin, get a table. That's the best idea I've heard all day. Literally, Macklin says it's the best idea I've heard. They put a table in the ring. Bully had a little bag. He pulls out some lighter fluid and puts lighter fluid on the table. Matthew Ringwald, one of the announcers, used to be a wrestler, used to be part of Aiden English, part of the Vaudevillains in NXT. He comes into the ring and stops Bully Ray and them from putting Scott D'Amore on fire to the table. Bully sprays him, attacks him. Macklin attacks him. He sprays him with lighter fluid. I'm like, fuck, the whole place is going to go up. And so Alex Shelley comes out. Chris Sabin comes out. They attack them. They all try to stop him. PCO comes out, and they end up breaking more center blocks over PCO. And then Bully Ray lights the table on fire, puts Scott D'Amore through the table after it was on fire. Scott did not catch fire, thankfully. But it's like, holy hell, guys. I mean, just clusterfuck at the end. And mind you, Macklin is still fucking bleeding. I mean, he goes like this and blood goes. It's like a St. Bernard, you know, the slumber in a St. Bernard. Macklin goes like this and blood's going everywhere. I would love to know how much blood he actually lost. Holy hell, it was a lot. I mean, the ring side's covered in blood. The ring apron, I mean, fuck, it was bad. Through all that, I give this match 4 star. Fuck. I mean, just the blood alone is worth 4 star, right? But Impact World Heavyweight Champion still Steve Macklin. So we have Steve Macklin versus Alex Shelley at Against All Odds. Overall, pretty decent show. Could have done without the riffraff. The 2 countdown matches could have fucking went somewhere else. Trinity and Gisele Shaw should have went somewhere else. Nick Aldis, Kenny King, that's the main event on Impact. You take the final 5 matches, boom, that's a fucking awesome show. But that's Impact Wrestling Under Siege review. As always, see Tin Rubber Sports Show for more reviews of the greatest weekend in racing. That's what we're dubbing it, but hey, pro wrestling's doing the same as well here. Under Siege review as always. Thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.